we'll try to convert a classical RESTify endpoint into an MCP server. Here we have an organization list with pagination and everything. And this organization is represented by the repository class, which is a wrapper to the organization model, right? Now, here we have stuff like includes. We can include users from the organization, like that. And let's say we want to expose this organization endpoint as an MCP tool. Well, in order to do that, I will show you here. We have prepared 3 endpoints. When an AI agent tries to connect with your MCP server, the MCP client initially will do an initialize call to do the handshaking. Then it will list potentially tools, and if needed, it will call a tool. So let's try to implement all of that. First of all, we go into the routes and we will create a file called ai.php. And here we need to define the HTTP route for the RESTify server. We use the MCP facade, web call, MCP RESTify, and then RESTify server, and that's it. Now we have the initialize endpoint available. It uses the authentication from the parent, which is a bearer token with Sanctum, but now you see it's still available as a public URL. If you want to protect it, you can add here a middleware. You can use some throttling and Sanctum. And if I want to use the authentication, it should fail, right? If I will use the bearer token, it should work. Perfect. Now let's go to the tool listing. As we see, we have no tools as of now. That's because we don't inherit the, sorry, yeah, so we have no tools. In order to expose a tool, we should go into the repository, organization repository, and if we want to expose this repository as a tool, we inject the has MCP tool trace over here. And by default, it will expose the index operation. You see, we have the organization index tool with the schema definition, so the AI MCP client will understand exactly how to use it. We can call it. And here we have the fields that are rendered from the repository fields, and that's it. If you want to expose some other operations such as creation, updating, and so on, if you open this trait, you will see that we can override these methods. So I will go back into the repository and say I want to update. Usually I will use the can and some sort of permission. Let's see, permissions, enum, manage organizations, value. Okay, so if my user has this ability, and it has, we will be able to update the organization. We should provide an ID for the organization to update and the other fields that were exposed, but they are not all of them required. Only the subdomain seems to be required. If you want to hide certain fields, you can go into the field itself and make it, for example, if you want to hide this phone, you can make it read-only over here, or you can use entirely hide from MCP, and in this case this field won't be even displayed here. You can also use rules. If the phone is required, you mark it as required like that, and now the field is required and it's also listed in the required field, so the MCP client will understand how to update the resource.